Tales from the Crypt has always been a carnival of moral punishment, a universe where people driven by ego, jealousy or greed are inevitably dragged toward their own poetic doom, and Curiosity Killed is one of those rare episodes where the theme of obsessive desire is stretched to its very last nerve. Watching it feels like stepping into a room where the walls are closing in inch by inch, not with sudden shocks, but with a psychological tightening that keeps the viewer in an almost uncomfortable intimacy with the characters. The opening scene begins with a deceptively simple domestic setting, ordinary enough to disguise the tension simmering underneath. The protagonist, a woman driven by a relentless urge to uncover the secrets around her, appears at first sympathetic, a person whose life is shaped by subtle dissatisfaction. She moves through her environment as though searching for a hidden meaning that refuses to reveal itself. The camera follows her with long lingering takes that give the impression of someone being monitored, and that visual tension sets the tone for everything that follows. As the first confrontation unfolds between her and her partner, the emotional landscape becomes clear. Their relationship is brittle, held together more by habit than affection, and the silence between them feels sharper than their words. This scene echoes classic domestic thrillers, where unresolved tension in a couple becomes the fuse that sets off a series of catastrophic decisions. In some ways, it reminds me of the paranoia in old noir films where truth is both a treasure and a curse, something that promises satisfaction, but delivers torment. When the protagonist becomes fixated on the strange behavior of the people around her, the narrative shifts into something akin to psychological claustrophobia. Small details gain disproportionate weight. A whisper behind a door. A drawer left slightly open. A look exchanged too quickly. Her mind transforms these crumbs into evidence of betrayal or conspiracy, and the story invites the viewer to follow her down that mental rabbit hole. I found myself recalling a personal moment when curiosity pushed me too far, the kind of memory where you convince yourself that uncovering a truth will give closure, but end up realizing that the pursuit itself is the source of suffering. Curiosity Killed captures that feeling with uncanny precision. One of the most gripping scenes occurs as she secretly follows her partner at night. The cinematography embraces long shadows and distorted angles that visually mirror her emotional unraveling. The music pulses softly beneath the silence, and the viewer feels like an accomplice in her spying. It is during this sequence that her obsession becomes irreversible. The more she learns, or believes she learns, the more she feels compelled to push forward. There is a striking moment when she hesitates, standing at the edge of a doorway, torn between retreating to safety or stepping into the unknown. The hesitation is brief, but it encapsulates the entire thesis of the episode. Humans are drawn to forbidden knowledge even when every instinct warns them that the discovery will not offer comfort. The climactic revelation is staged with theatrical flair. The setting is almost surreal in its exaggerated darkness, as though reality itself bends under the weight of her fears. The twist she uncovers is both shocking and strangely inevitable. The moral punch strikes with familiar tales from the crypt precision. Her fate is not simply a consequence of her actions, but a kind of ironic justice, a reminder that secrets often hide behind barriers for a reason. The final moment of the episode lingers not because of its gore or shock value, but because of the lingering philosophical question it provokes. Would it have been better not to know? The brilliance of Curiosity Killed is that it never treats curiosity as a simple vice. Instead, it frames it as a fundamentally human impulse that becomes dangerous only when paired with emotional vulnerability and fear. The episode's pacing is methodical, letting paranoia grow like ivy crawling across a window pane. The acting is deliberately restrained, giving emotional explosions more impact when they finally erupt. What stands out most on rewatch is how the episode layers symbols of intrusion. Keys, doors, shadows and reflections constantly appear, reminding the viewer that the line between public and private is thin and easily crossed. The narrative structure builds toward the theme that curiosity without understanding becomes a weapon turned inward. Its ending serves as a haunting reminder that the pursuit of dark truths can hollow out a person long before the truth itself arrives. In many ways, Curiosity Killed feels like an ancient cautionary tale dressed in modern psychological clothing. It resonates with the primal fear of knowing too much, the unsettling awareness that human minds are fragile when confronted with disturbing truths. And perhaps that is why this episode continues to linger in memory long after the screen fades to black.